Hello, happy Sunday. There's something that I said in a couple of videos ago that I wanted to touch on. I'm actually going to use that video to touch on a lot of things that I said in that video. The video called How to Escape from Rock Bottom. And it really doesn't matter what you define rock bottom as. It's just whatever rock bottom is for you, then I would think that hopefully that video does apply to you in some kind of way. Hopefully it helps. But I said a lot of different things in that video because I have a lot of different emotions and a lot of different aspects of my perspective that are being altered and growing through God. And so I'm really thankful for that. But as I'm changing and as I'm growing as a woman, as a mom, as a person, as a believer, I just want to share my experiences on YouTube as I'm going from point A to point B. And I know life is not point A to point B and then you're done. Like I said before, it's an ever evolving, ever changing process until we leave this earth. Baby, get off of that. Get down, honey. That's not safe. Here you go. Yeah, it's not safe. What was I saying? Oh, as I'm going from point A to point B, and again, life is not A to B, I get that. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to wait until I have like this picture perfect life and like this perfect Christianity and this, you know what I mean? I don't want to wait until I'm like super polished. Because when is that day going to come? Who said that day was ever coming in the first place? And so I feel like on my path from A to B, I want to share my experiences so that I can help people along the way, even if it's just planting a small seed in somebody or if it's exposing somebody to God's love and God's grace. I'd rather do that along the way and reach out and help people to come with me to the place of peace and the place of joy and the place of love, rather than waiting until I'm some perfect mom or perfect woman, until I'm a perfect leader or a perfect whatever, because I'll never be perfect. So when is really the stop sign where I say, hey, you know what, now I'm going to do X, Y, Z and help other people? I'd rather just serve along the way, because that's what I feel a sense of urgency to do in the first place. Baby, you gotta come over here and growl when you got all those toys over there. Like I told her yesterday, like he has all the, don't mind the hangers in the background. I tried to hide them on the side of the video and like hide them behind my head, to be honest. I'm donating a lot of his clothes to a local pregnancy center. So deep cleaning his closet and his drawers. So all the hangers are the little baby kid hangers. But anyway, let me just get to the point because I don't want this to be a 70-minute video. One of the things I was going to talk about in that Escape from Rock Bottom video, I'll be referencing that a lot in this series, by the way, is that people who are people pleasers or who have been people pleasers, once you stop people pleasing and you realize that that's not healthy, it is probably then that you realize, or at least for me, it's then that you realize like people pleasing is not a strength. That is not being kind. People pleasing is not kindness. People pleasing is not love. People pleasing is not strength. Like, it's not a compliment. And I think that I have grown up from childhood into adulthood thinking that me being, and not that I never did label myself a people pleaser, but now that I'm growing and evolving, I am noticing a lot of different flaws that I have, and I'm able to identify them and like fix them. And hold myself accountable. So I never knew until I guess recently that I'm a people pleaser. I think I kind of knew that I am a thermometer person, or no, I have been a thermometer person instead of a thermostat person. Meaning, if I walk into a room, I'm being hypervigilant. When I walk into a room, whether it's a store or literally a room, or I walk into an office, or I walk into any kind of space that has people already there, I am gauging the moods and the attitudes and the body language of other people automatically without even thinking about it, so that I know how to act and I know who I need to become or who I need to be or which face which mask I need to put on. And I 100% know what that's from. I already know what that's from. That's from stuff that happened in front of me from age 3 to age 7, and more. So I know what my hypervigilance is from, as far as that's concerned. Like, you know, walking into a space and saying, hey, don't do that. You're going to fall down, honey. Don't do that. Thank you. Go get your school bus. Yes. It's the school bus. You don't want to play with it? Okay. Walking into a room and having to figure out, is this a safe space for me? Do I need to leave? Do I need to hide? Do I need to shrink myself? Do I need to go play with my toys? You know what I mean? Like, I have to, like, what's the matter? You don't know? You want to climb on that? No, you can't climb on that, baby. Baby. No. Yeah, you're going to get hurt. You want to climb on it that bad? Go ahead. He's upset that I have this bin of clothes separating us, because yesterday's video, he was climbing all over me, which is fine. Like, I don't mind him clinging to me or climbing on me. And the way I was talking to him in that video, I was just playing. When I was like, scram, go play. He knows that I absolutely adore him and that you can climb on mama all you want. But I just wanted to see if I could film this video without him doing that. And he's looking at me like, mama, I'm gonna climb all this stuff to get to you. And of course, having all these toys all over the place is not good enough for him. He has to have me. Mama's boy. Come here. I can pull you over here if you want, but you're gonna have to behave. Okay. You're gonna behave? Say no, ma'am. You better not tear up this Bible either, because I'm gonna tear you up. I'm gonna tear you up. So don't remove the Bible out of the way. Here, buddy. Let me wipe your nose. You all right? You okay? All right. So, I know where my people pleasing probably stems from. And so just like wondering, like, who's safe and who's not. Who do I have to pretend to be in order to feel safe, in order to feel included here? But as an adult, like, no matter where your people pleasing habits came from, or your mindset comes from, when it comes down to like putting other people first and not just being yourself and not just saying what you really want and bending over backwards for other people, like, yes, like, we should be willing to compromise. Yes, we should be willing to make sacrifices for the, you know, the betterment of our families and our workplaces. Like, it's good to be a team player, but like, when you have grown up being a people pleaser, we have to, oh, I'm sorry, baby. We have to find the fine line, find that thin line where you're crossing over into, like, just, you're not being fair to yourself. You're not being kind to yourself, and you're not respecting yourself because you keep putting yourself on the back burner for the sake of other people. That's not a strength. And I think that it feels like a strength because you think that that's kindness. And so we feel like, this is not a flaw. This is not something I need to work on. I always give people the shirt off my back, and I always put people first, and I always do this, and I always do that. Yes, to a certain extent, I understand that you're generous and you're kind, but if it comes at the cost of your own sake, like your own sanity, your own bank account because you keep lending people money, or your own peace because now you're anxious because you put yourself in these situations for other people, or your own whatever, if it comes at the cost of something for you, it is not a strength. You have to find the balance, and I'm talking to myself. We have to find the balance between doing things for other people out of the kindness of our heart, but still like being very strong and firm and confident, gently confident, to make sure we put ourselves and our best interests at heart as well. So that is something that I'm gonna have to learn, because I no longer want to be a thermostat. I want to be the thermometer. When I walk into a room, y'all don't have to change because of me, because that's what a thermometer would mean. Like I'm changing the temperature or something. Thermometer, thermostat. Okay, so I don't want to confuse out with the analogy of like, am I a thermometer versus a thermostat? But what I mean is like, I don't want to walk into a room or walk into a space and change other people, but neither do I want to be a people pleaser and walk into a room and just change and become the chameleon and I'm changing because of the temperature of the room. I want to just be me regardless of what other people are doing. I want to walk into a room and I don't have to say a word. My presence is going to say it. I don't want to walk into a room and feel like I need to gauge what is everybody else doing? Do I need to do the same thing so I can fit in? You know what I mean? So yeah, people pleasing is actually not a strength. And so I have had to grow up realizing that. And it is, I would say it feels late for me to be realizing this. But I feel like it's never too late to learn anything. And you know how like people can be in their 50s and 60s and go to college and launch a business and write their book or get their GED or their diploma. Like you can be whatever age to accomplish anything, but that also applies to personal growth and personal development. You can be 60, 70 years old and start holding yourself accountable for the first time. You can be 60, 70, 80 years old and start to soften your heart and start loving people from a place of peace instead of a place of pain. You can be 60, 70, 80 years old and do whatever. Like you can change and improve and grow and evolve at any stage of life. And so me, I don't care that, I'm about to be 40 and I'm learning things that people probably learned decades ago or years ago. This is my life and I don't have to operate off of somebody else's timeline. Because I think a lot of the time I felt like I was behind in life about certain things. Like I graduated a year late and as far as college, not high school. I graduated a year late and I joined the army late and I did this such and such late. Like my personal growth and my professional journey and my motherhood and my this and my that, like all of it is according to what God has set in place. And yes, our mistakes and our decisions and our actions or our lack of action can alter like the timeline of our life and what that looks like. But at the end of the day, like God's will is there and it is what it is. Some things are out of our control. And so I'm glad. You're glad too? I'm glad to be where I am. It's fine. It is what it is. Baby, you want to sing for Instagram? You want to sing for YouTube? Go ahead. We got to church a little bit late today because I washed my hair before church. I meant to wash it last night, but he went to sleep. And I was like, I am going to sleep immediately because once you go to sleep, I'm like, okay, I got to get into bed and get my sleep too. So I ended up washing my hair this morning before church. And I didn't think time was where it was. But when I looked at the time and it was 10:49 and we and him were not dressed yet, I was like, oh my gosh. The old me would have been like, oh, well, by the time we get dressed and get ready and I pack your diaper bag and everything, we make it to church, like it's going to be halfway over. So, oh, well, I guess I just watch it online. And then I don't watch it online. And then I'll say, oh, I'll watch it online later. And then I don't ever watch it online. And then I don't ever get God in my life on a Sunday. You okay? And I love going to church now. Whereas before I just went to church. You want to get up and play? Or you want to stay right here? Before I went to church out of obligation or out of so-called habit. But now, like, I don't care that I'm running late for church. We're going to go. We're going to be there. I don't care how late. Well, I'm not going to say I don't care how late we are. Trust me, I prioritize being on time for church. And the reason why I said that is because when he was singing kind of just now, it made me feel bad for being late to church today because we missed probably 2 or 3 of the songs during worship time before. You love singing, huh? See, he loves singing. He loves. Okay, what I was saying before my phone cut off. Let me hurry up and get to the point so my phone doesn't keep cutting off. I'm running out of storage. How? I feel bad about being late to church today because my favorite part of the week is going to church for specifically worshiping with Tristan, because he loves worship. He will clap and sing and raise his hands in the air. And it's because he's been watching me since he was born. I took him to church in the sanctuary instead of taking him to children's church. And I don't know why I made that decision. I can't say that it was intentional, that I just really didn't want him to go to children's church. Like, the church we go to, they have a great kids ministry. And so I think I just wanted him to be with me, because weekends is when we spend our most time together. Whereas during the week, he's at daycare because I'm at work. So I never felt the need or the desire to take him to children's church. And so I guess since he's grown up so far, watching me worship at church, and he loves the music and the lights, so he worships right along with me. And that's a favorite part of my week, because worshiping together with my son is just really powerful and impactful, and it just sets me up for a really good week. So I felt bad that we were late today, because that's his favorite part of church. But we got a good word. But anywho, before my phone cuts off again, it's actually in the Bible about people pleasing. There's a few verses that cover it, not specifically people pleasing, but there's two verses that I want to point out. The first one is Galatians chapter 1, verse 10, which says, I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant. Let that go, baby. So I'll read that again. I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant. So not only is people pleasing just socially, like, not a strength. It doesn't make you a good person because you put yourself last. But you're not putting God first, because if you're people pleasing, you're not working to please God. You're working hard to please other people. So that's what I got out of that verse. And there's another one, Colossians 3:23. Leave that alone, baby. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. So no matter what we're doing, I take that as no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing it at work, in sports, in church, in your hobbies, or whatever, no matter what you're doing, we need to be doing it for God, to glorify God. Don't do that. To glorify God and not to please other people. To please God, to serve God, to glorify God, not to please or serve people. And so those are two of the few verses that I found that cover the topic of somewhat like people pleasing versus working to please the Lord. And please, just because I'm reading from the Bible does not make me a Christian content creator or a Christian influencer. I don't even refer to myself as a Christian per se. And I'm not saying I'm not a Christian. I'm just saying, like, I don't label myself as a Christian. I just label myself as a believer and a follower of God. And I know y'all are like, oh, that's the same thing. Believer and follower just, my hair. Believer and follower just sounds more like aligned with who I am. I think maybe because I grew up like hearing the word Christian so much, and maybe in my mind, I feel like the title of Christian is like people that, and I'm not stereotyping, I'm just telling you about my experience when I was growing up. Growing up, to me, I think over time, the title of Christian became to mean that you're someone that goes to church. Yes, baby. You're someone that goes to church. Someone that goes to church on a regular basis, and they read the Bible, and they know all the hymns, but underneath, they were still very judgmental. They weren't godly, and they weren't like Jesus. They were above everybody else. They made other people who didn't follow God feel small. And I just feel like, I know that's not true. I know there's a lot of really, really amazing Christians out there. But I think until I become okay with that title, like, I'm just going to continue to say that I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I'm a follower. And again, I know y'all probably like, that's the same thing, but that's my story. That's my experience. I'm sticking to it. So anyway, You know, if you're a people pleaser, I hope this video made sense to you. We have to be better. We have to be better. Even though like people have probably been really used to you being a people pleaser and sacrificing for them and putting yourself last, and you know, you being too much of a team player that you're not even considering your own best interest. And when you change that around and you start to put yourself first, be humble about it. Like, don't be like, well, I'm no longer a people pleaser, so it's my way or the highway. Like, you can be very graceful and gentle about your transition into being a better, stronger person, and being more firm and assertive, but you can do that gently. You don't have to be a brand new person ready to stand on business and stomp on people on your way there. Hey, man. What's up with the sireeeens? See, that's why you fell down. I told you not to climb on that. Somebody come get these kids. And by kids, I mean me and Tristan. Somebody come get me. I'm just joking. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video because my phone keeps cutting off. I just want to say that, like I was saying before, when you're evolving, when you're changing and you're adapting and you're becoming a better person and becoming a stronger person, there's no need to become a stronger person at the expense of other people. You can still move kindly and gracefully, and just be humble in your healing journey. I know when you're healing, at least for me, it makes me feel sometimes like I'm stronger than I've ever been. I'm confident, more confident than I've ever been. But it doesn't make me high and mighty. It doesn't make us above people. It doesn't make us anything. We are still the same old Joe we were last week, last month, last year, last decade. The big part of us is God. And so there's no need to act bigger than everybody or be the bigger person or be the better person like you're high and mighty. God is high and mighty, and that's what makes me have confidence and strength. It's not me or my own doing. And so, yeah, as you end the people-pleasing era and you go into strength and walk in purpose and walk with confidence, just do it with grace. And from my heart to yours, I just want to say that I'm praying for you and we love you so much. Thank you so much for watching our channel. And we'll see you tomorrow.